beneath it, a new message had appeared. One I had never received, one I knew hadn't been there before. It said, "Thank you for bringing him." I nearly dropped my phone. The order finally disappeared a second later, like it had never existed. The next morning, I called DoorDash support. I explained everything. Well, almost everything. I left out the impossible parts. The representative searched for the order, then told me something terrifying. There was no record of it. No customer, no address, no payment, nothing. The order simply didn't exist, exactly like the officer feared. For the next few days, nothing happened. Life slowly returned to normal. I stopped thinking about Willow Creek Road, stopped thinking about the house, stopped thinking about the figure. Then, on the fifth night, it started. 3:07 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. My eyes opened instantly. The sound came from my apartment door. 3 slow knocks, exactly 3. Nothing else. I sat up in bed, listening. Silence. Then, knock, knock, knock. Again, the exact same pattern. My heart began racing. I checked the peephole. Nobody. The hallway was empty. I almost convinced myself it was a neighbor, until my phone vibrated. Unknown number. One message. Don't open it. My blood turned cold. The same wording, the same style, the same feeling, just like the messages from Willow Creek Road. I stepped away from the door, trying to stay calm. Then another sound came. Not from outside, from inside my apartment, upstairs. A slow creaking noise. My apartment didn't have a second floor, yet something was walking above me. Step, step, step. Slowly crossing the ceiling, directly over my bedroom. I couldn't breathe. The sound continued for nearly a minute, then suddenly stopped. Right above my bed, complete silence. I grabbed my flashlight, my hand shaking, and looked up. That's when I noticed something. A small black stain on the ceiling, directly above me. I had never seen it before. The stain slowly grew larger. Drip. A black liquid fell onto the floor beside my bed. Then another, and another. The stain continued spreading, like something was leaking through from above, from a place that shouldn't exist. Then my phone buzzed again. Another message. This time there were only 4 words. 4 words that made my stomach drop. Look under the bed. I froze. The room became completely silent. No footsteps, no knocking, nothing. Only my breathing, and those 4 words glowing on my screen. For several seconds, I couldn't move, because deep down, I already knew. Something was under there, waiting. I stared at the message. Look under the bed. My entire body went numb. Every instinct screamed at me not to leave, to run, to get out of the apartment. But another part of me needed to know, needed answers. Slowly, I pointed the flashlight toward the floor. The beam trembled in my shaking hand. The room felt colder, much colder, like all the warmth had been drained away. I knelt beside the bed, my heart pounding. Then I lowered the flashlight and looked underneath. Nothing, just darkness. I almost laughed, almost. Then the darkness blinked. I froze. 2 pale eyes stared back at me, deep beneath the bed, not reflecting light, watching me, waiting. I stumbled backward and slammed into the wall. The eyes didn't move, didn't blink again, just watched. Then my phone buzzed. Another message. Don't let it out. My stomach twisted. Too late. Because the moment I looked back under the bed, the eyes were gone. The space beneath it was empty. Completely empty. I ran from the bedroom, locked myself in the bathroom. My hands shook uncontrollably. Then I heard something. A sound from the hallway. Footsteps. slow footsteps, walking through my apartment, step, step, step. Something was moving around outside. I called the officer, the same one from Willow Creek Road. He answered immediately, like he had been expecting my call. I told him everything: the knocking, the stain, the eyes, the footsteps. There was a long silence. Then he said, "Leave the apartment right now." I didn't hesitate. I grabbed my keys, opened the bathroom door, and stepped into the hallway. The apartment looked normal, silent, empty. Then I noticed something horrifying. All the family photos hanging on my wall had been turned around, every single one, facing the wall, as if something didn't want them looking. I rushed toward the front door, then stopped. A smell filled the apartment: wet wood, mold, rot. The same smell from the house, the same smell from Willow Creek Road. My heart dropped. It was here, inside. I unlocked the door, pulled it open, and nearly screamed. Someone was standing outside. The old woman, Margaret, the woman from the house. Rain soaked her clothes. Her black eyes stared directly at me. But this time, she wasn't smiling. She looked terrified. She grabbed my arm and whispered, "It's learning." What? It's learning faster than before. Her voice shook. Then she looked over my shoulder, into the apartment, and her face turned white. Absolutely white, because something inside had seen her. The old woman stepped backward, terror filling her eyes. Then she whispered, "Don't look behind you." Every horror movie rule says not to. Every instinct says don't. But I did, slowly. I turned around, toward the dark hallway, and standing there, at the far end of my apartment, was me. Not someone similar, not someone who looked like me. Me, my face, my clothes, my body, standing perfectly still, smiling. And that's when I finally understood. The thing from Willow Creek Road wasn't following me anymore, because it didn't need to. It had already become me. For a moment, I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't move. The thing standing in my hallway looked exactly like me. Same face, same clothes, same haircut, same everything. Except for one thing, its smile. The smile stretched far wider than any human smile should, almost from ear to ear, and it never blinked. Not once. The old woman grabbed my arm. Hard. "Don't talk to it." Her voice shook. "Whatever happens, don't answer it." The copy of me slowly tilted its head, exactly like the old woman had done at the house. Then it spoke, using my voice. My exact voice. "Jake." My blood froze. The thing took one step forward, then another, then another. Slow, patient, like it already knew it had won. The old woman pulled me toward the stairs. "Move!" We ran. The moment we reached the parking lot, something impossible happened. Every light in the building shut off at the same time. The entire apartment complex went dark. Dozens of windows, hundreds of lights, all gone. The darkness felt alive, watching, waiting. The old woman forced me into her car. I didn't ask questions. I didn't care anymore. I just wanted to survive. We drove for nearly 30 minutes. Neither of us spoke. Finally, I asked the question that had been haunting me. "What is that thing?" The old woman stared through the windshield. Rain rolled down the glass. Then she finally answered. "It's hungry." I frowned. Hungry for what? She looked at me, and I immediately wished I hadn't asked. Identity. A cold chill ran through me. The old woman continued. "It doesn't eat people. It replaces them." My stomach dropped. She nodded slowly. "It learns everything. Your face, your voice, your memories, your habits. your fears. And when it's finished, she paused. Nobody can tell the difference. We eventually arrived at an abandoned church outside town. The old woman led me inside. Waiting there was the police officer. The same officer from Willow Creek Road. He looked exhausted, like he hadn't slept in days. The moment he saw me, relief appeared on his face. Good. You made it. The old woman looked confused. What do you mean? The officer hesitated, then slowly looked toward me. And that's when everything changed. Because suddenly, his expression became terrified, not relieved. Terrified. The old woman noticed too. What's wrong? The officer raised his flashlight, pointing it directly at me, his hand shaking violently. Then he whispered, "Oh, God." My heart stopped. What? The officer swallowed, then spoke the words I will never forget. Jake never made it out of the house. Silence. Complete silence. The old woman slowly stepped away from me, her face pale with fear. I looked between them, confused, terrified. What are you talking about? The officer's eyes filled with dread. When I shot into your car, he said, the real Jake was already gone. I couldn't understand. None of it made sense. Then memories started flooding back. Memories that weren't mine. The upstairs window, the burning house, the disappearances, the forest, the faces, the hunger. Suddenly I remembered everything, not as Jake, but as the thing from Willow Creek Road, the thing that had waited for decades, the thing that needed someone to bring it home. And then I realized something horrifying. The message had never said, "He found you." The message said, "Thank you for bringing him." Not it, him, me. The officer raised his weapon. The old woman backed away. And for the first time, I saw my reflection in a church window. It wasn't my face anymore. It was blank, white, empty, smiling. Exactly like the figure in the road. Exactly like the thing in the back seat. Exactly like the thing standing in my apartment. Because they were all the same thing. And now, so was I. The officer fired. The church exploded with gunfire. Everything went black. 3 months later, a DoorDash driver accepted an order at 2:13 a.m. 1 large pepperoni pizza, 1 bottle of Coke. Delivery address, 117 Willow Creek Road. Customer name, delivered to the window. The driver received a message just before arriving, a message from an unknown number. It said, "Do not let him see your face." And standing silently in the upstairs window, watching him arrive, was me. To this day, DoorDash claims that order never existed. The address doesn't appear on any map, and every October, another driver reports receiving the same delivery request at exactly 2:13 a.m.